And I thought I might as well press the button, as Julianus and the angels say, and have a little chat with you on the way home. I've just been to my new house and I was inspired to talk with the tribe about dead people. I don't like the term dead people because we do not die. We never die. We can't die at all. We just move on. We transition. And the reason I started thinking about it while I was just kind of not daydreaming, because obviously I have to be very alert in my traffic jam. But I literally was walking through my new house, just measuring up. You know, you do the final measuring up just to know where everything's going to go. And there was a waft of 3 people there who connected with the people there that live there. So I think it was Dad, Mum and Granddad, I think it was, something like that. Anyway, I just thought about the fact that I naturally see and feel spirit people, but you don't. Some of you do. But as the veil gets thinner throughout this ascension raising that we're going through at the moment, we're going to start being more aware of our spirit people. And this is very much on how to contact them or how to establish a relationship with your loved ones after they go home. They haven't really gone anywhere. They've just changed into a different energy source. So the physical body is the biggest thing that we concentrate on. The physical body, the personality, the ego system of that person is what we connect with and love and hold dear. And so when suddenly the physical body's gone, we tend to think that that's the end of it. Absolutely not, because what makes us, the essence of who we are, our histories, our ancestry, is all held almost like DNA within our soul memory. And that is still very much alive and kicking, without a doubt. And it brings me to a story. I remember once when I was living near Glastonbury and I was going to the hairdressers, and there was a lady standing opposite the road in my village in jeans. I can remember her now. She had like what, sort of like wavy permed hair, flip-flops on, very modern looking lady. And I went, hi. And I could feel, do you know when you can feel someone still looking at you? And I thought, is she all right? Do you know what I mean? What is she looking at me for? Have I got something hanging out? Have I got my knickers showing? Have I got a bit of toilet roll on my feet? And I thought, it's a bit weird. So I got in the car, I could see her, I could just feel her still looking at me. And I looked across at her and she was just staring. And I thought, is she all right? And I was going to get out the car, you know, to see if she needed me or, you know, there was some issue going on. And she suddenly disappeared like that. I could not believe it. And then just as she disappeared, I heard within myself, clairaudiently, like it's a big booming voice either inside or outside, say June. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I was so gutted. It happens every time I see a spirit person. I just look at them and not acknowledge them, and then they disappear. And I think, oh no, I could have kept my eyes on them, you know, and really studied them. She was solid as anything, just a normal human being, just standing there looking at me. So I got to the hairdressers and I said, God, something really weird happened. It was like this spirit woman just standing there looking at me. And she went, right. So she goes, what does she look like then? And then as I started to describe her, she started stopping what she was doing. So she said, that sounds like my mum. She was always in her flip-flops because she had bunions, always in her flip-flops. I'm like, you're joking me. So I said, and as she disappeared through the ether, she said June, and she went, oh my God, that's my mum's name. And it turned out, and then her mum came back into the energy and started communicating with me and gave her a message. And it was just such perfect evidence that this spirit lady had come to me knowing I was going to see her daughter. I just stood there staring at me. And then she came back in when I like kind of opened my energy up. And I'll describe that in a minute. And gave a message to her daughter. It was just brilliant. I've had that so many times when, you know, I'm on my way to a demonstration of mediumship, like doing a show on stage, and they all start coming beforehand. You'll see in some of my books, I had a bloke come into my bathroom while I was having a bath. I'm like, rude. And they literally, they know where you're going to be and what you're doing. They know that I'm going to meet you, and so they start initiating that contact, that connection. So when our loved ones go up to the spirit world, they go to, you already know this if you've watched my other videos, but they go through their transition, go through their life review, and after whatever healing that particular individual soul needs, they then go to their reality layer, which is the layer of heaven in the frequencies of the Crystal Palace, which is like the home of souls, basically. And they create a reality. The reality is that they create consciously, because we've forgotten to do this, they can create with intent their reality. And so if they loved going on a motorbike, they'll be on a motorbike. If they love baking, they'll bake. Whatever they want to do, they'll create that conscious reality. And it's a reality, it's almost like a holodeck. Do you know, it's the only way I can describe it. Do you know, in Star Trek, when it's, you know, it says to the machine, I want to be here and I want to do that. Everything's interactive. Everything is completely real. The thing that we can't get our head around is because their physical body has died, we can't get our head around the fact that their reality continues in a different frequency, a different layer. And they can create that reality, which when I've been up there and seen that reality, so much more clearer and lucid than it is here. Just everything, light, colour, sound, emotion, it's all 1,000 times more sharp. I think it's because you don't have your thought processes and your emotions in the way. You know, you don't have your ego in the way. And so you just take the reality as it is and absorb the whole lot of it. And it's just so much more vibrant. It's like, do you know when you have a lucid dream and it feels so real? Everything you do, touch, taste, smell, see, it's so real, and it's almost an intimate connection that you have in that dream. And that's exactly what it's like to be a spirit person. So when they get to the reality layer, it depends on religion to begin with, because there are religious concepts where people down here, if they don't believe in the afterlife or they don't adhere to it, then they can create a block in the consciousness connection, which I've had to deal with a couple of times actually, where the spirit person desperately wants to say hello to the family, but the family won't acknowledge them. They block it because it's not allowed. Do you know what I mean? But it also depends on your grief, what you need to, what you can handle, your awareness, your openness, the spirit world, how developed you are if you're a natural medium. So I've heard people say, and it's so wrong on every level, oh, it takes at least 6 months for a spirit person to come through. Absolute load of old crap. They will resonate with your energy and see when you're ready. No matter how desperate you want to see them or get a sign or whatever you want to do, they will wait until they know that you've healed to a healthy enough level that you're not going to attach yourself to wanting the next sign, wanting the next reading, you know. And as I always say, please don't go to a medium too soon, and make sure that the medium you go to is completely reputable. In my book, I know I've got to get it finished, but it is finished. It's just getting it together and getting it to the editor. What happens when we die? I've got all of this information in there for you on how to, you know, when and how to get the best out of seeing a medium, that kind of thing. So don't despair. I know some of you, you know, have said over the, well, many of you over the years have said, oh, I haven't heard from my dad in 3 years, you know, what's going on? Why doesn't he want to speak to me? Of course he does. But sometimes you need that extra bridge to open the gap. I find that once someone comes to a medium that's opened that gateway of energy and communication, that's when it's free flowing and they can start visiting you. I don't know how or why, but it seems that we open the floodgates to communication for you, because you're both sitting in a triangle of energy, and I suppose the resonance of that energy is memorable, and that's how they can then talk to you. Also, the way it works is that the spirit world is very much like water, if you like, and we're oil, and we don't mix very well because we are in a heavy, dense energy, so that we can get through the 3D reality of this space that we walk on when we have our human experience. And so those base chakras can sometimes overwhelm the divine chakras. This is why I'm always talking about chakra balance and exercising your third eye, your divine chakra. And this is done through meditation, connecting with nature, grounding, mindfulness, mental work, basically, because we have to rise up to their consciousness. They have to come down a bit to ours and mix that oil and water. And it's quite difficult, but once you've got it sussed, it's as easy as pie. And I've noticed, and I've said it on a lot of my videos, that now there seems to be such a thin connection. It's like I can get through to the angel realms. I used to have to really concentrate and go into a visualization of me opening my chakras and getting prepared, sending out energy, connecting. Now it's just like that for me, and I would assume that a lot of you out there, psychics and mediums, will say the same. And it's because this consciousness is rising, and our oil is just getting lighter and lighter to make that water. And so we're connecting easier with our loved ones. Also, you know, the bravado of some people saying, yeah, I want to see my mum, I want to see my dad. And then when it actually happens, you actually poo your pants. So they know when you're ready, darlings. And, you know, the other thing is as well, when people say, oh, they haven't come to visit, you know, I haven't seen them. And I say, well, do you know what? And then I ask them, you know, do you know what signs to look out for? And they're like, no. So they could be bringing you lots of signs and synchronicity and you not even noticing it. So they will prefer to bring you signs and synchronicity to begin with, because it's a lot more of a gentle process and it's easing you into this new way of being with your loved one. You know, you've had a physical, mental and emotional relationship, and you've now got to change that to a spiritual relationship. So it's down to your consciousness, your divine chakras, your mind connecting up to their radar, if you like, to their radio station, tuning in and then staying in that energy. And then the other problem we get is if you do get a conversation going, you then start doubting it, thinking I'm just making it up. Do you know what I mean? So you could be standing, it's like my mum, she always used to take the mickey out of me, because when I peel potatoes, I do it too thickly. She used to say, bloody hell, you could create chips with what you're peeling off. I'm like, for God's sake, you do it then. And I just know that every time I peel a potato, she comes in and goes, you could create chips with them. I'm like, whatever, mum. So, you know, impress yourself. Come down here and do it myself. And so we have this conversation, and I know that it's her talking with me in my mind. And then she'll do something afterwards to back up she's been there. And this is because I have literally nurtured that relationship. Same with Darren, my dad, everybody that's gone up there. I nurture a relationship where they know that they'll do something else just to back up that they have had that conversation with me. You can only get that with embracing and accepting it in the first place. As if you think, oh, I'm making it up because I miss my mum, or was that really her? And you start going into that ego analysis stage, then that's when you're going to break the connection. And they're like, oh, for God's sake, just accept I'm talking to you, you know? And if you actually look, there's a butterfly that I send. So let's talk about the signs and synchronicities. I know I've said this before, but it could be the music that they loved, you know, a band they love, music at their funeral. They love to use music as synchronicity. And it's not as if, you know, they possess the DJ on the radio, but they will suddenly make you put on the radio. They'll say, turn on now, or they'll tell you what station to put on, or they'll suddenly say, do Spotify, and then because they know that there's going to be a song on there that's going to play, or they'll just turn it on themselves. I've had that loads of times. On I think it was my 30th birthday, I was in Egypt diving, and I walked into the room, and it was the iPods back then, and it wasn't even plugged in, and it turned on. It was my dad's song, Bridge Over Troubled Water. I was like, oh, that's good, that's really good. So music is one of the easiest things for them to do. It works on digital frequency. They know how to work with electricity, and so they're going to smash anywhere music, the vibration of music. You know, the seraphim work on the vibration of music. They have their song that births planets. So music is one of the most common ways for them to send you a message. Sometimes listen to the song that comes on afterwards, because there may be a message in that song as well. Okay, so music, electricity, they are so good at manipulating electricity. It's so easy for them because they have electrical particles within their being, and so, you know, that's why we use EMF to measure where they are standing or where they're present. The electromagnetic field, which they have to interfere with and manifest to get their energy over here. And so they're going to be really good at changing channels, turning TVs on, radios on, off again, kicking your mobile on, kicking it off. I've even had someone that used to get emails from my husband who passed, and we made sure they weren't pre-recorded, or, you know, someone hadn't got access to his account. It's like, absolutely not. And he used to email her. It was incredible, that was. Mobile phones have gone off on people's birthdays, who've been buried with their mobile phone. So I had one where his brother had passed, and then on his birthday his brother was phoning him and his mobile phone was in his coffin with him. So they're very, very clever at stuff like this. I've had one lady whose mum left a message on her voicemail, like, you know, with the old home phones, and he went, "Love you, darling," on her birthday. Freaked her out, but made me so excited. It's just amazing. So they're going to use that. They're very good at creating independent direct speech, so they can easily place that on an electrical device. Hence why, once you get confident enough and you are completely in control of your fear, completely in control of knowing and sensing things, so I'll definitely go to a circle, workshop, whatever you want to do, to start registering the energy. You can literally just turn your phone on record and say, "Hey mum, how you doing?" It's called EVP, electronic voice phenomena. So if you want to start chatting with your loved ones, but again, be prepared, because if you get a voice back, a lot of you will freak. I'll tell you that now. And sometimes when they're trying to manifest the ether, the voice can come through a bit distorted to begin with, because they're learning as well, remember. They literally go up and think, right, how do I get back down? How do I learn all this stuff to come back down and speak to my loved ones? And so it sometimes can come through a bit creepified until they learn to gauge their independent direct speech into the ether. So it can freak you the F out, I'm telling you that now. So make sure you are prepared to get a reply back. And all you got to do is speak on the phone, but don't talk too much. Just stop. "Hey mum, how you doing? Are you here?" And then just leave it running for 30 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute, whatever you want to do. "Are you okay? Was it you the other day that did this, that?" So this is where people will go, "Oh God, no, you don't know what you're going to get." You know, what a load of old crap. Basically, you work in the light. You are completely connected to the laws of attraction. So if you are speaking with love, you've got your guides, you've got angel realms around you. If you're speaking with love and with the greatest, highest good, you're just going to connect with high energy frequencies. So you're not contacting anybody, and I've put that as the title, but you're not contacting, you're just blending with the energies of your loved ones that are already with you. Half the time, 3/4 of the time, or all the time, they are with you. And I use the analogy, you know, like Stranger Things, where they're literally standing in the room and they use the lights to communicate. They're like, "Mom," but they can't actually hear them. It's just like that. They're there. You're not contacting them. You're not summoning them. They're already there, ready and waiting for you to raise your vibration, calm your mind, meditate, keep your vibration as high as possible so that you can begin your spiritual relationship with them. They're waiting. It's just us. that creates the fear, the doubt, the worry, the summoning, the evil, and all the other crap that media has infiltrated into your mind over years, because they don't want you to have the power to have this universal wisdom of the afterlife. They don't want it. They don't want you to have that power, and so they change it to scary shit, which is so frustrating for people like me that know the beauty of it and how much comfort it can bring you. So you can always do EVP on your phones and any electronic device, and you know, if you're ready to hear it, they will place their voice on there. I'm telling you now. They love to bring signs, animal, spirit totems. Perhaps it's their favourite animal. It could go from black cats to crows to robins, which is one of the most common spirit messengers that goes way back to the Native American times, where they were believed to be the messengers that took souls up to the afterlife. And so robins are very common, and Darren chose a robin. How common are you, Darren? My granddad sends a pigeon, my dad sends a sparrowhawk, my mum is bumblebee. And then they will just show you synchronicity, where they'll be mentioned, and there'll be an item that you know will connect with them. So mine personally is sunflower, because we left some sunflowers. I had loads of flowers when Darren went home, and I had to leave the house because of his pathetic family and go and stay up here. And there were some sunflowers still really, and I'm like, oh God, what am I going to do with them? And so the girls, God bless them, put them in a beautiful posy on the patio table with a fairy next to it, and it was just so pretty. And then I went for a reading, and she said, Darren's saying about the sunflowers that you left on the table, and that's going to be his flower. So now when I see a sunflower as well, I know that's him. He also has taught me that his number when he manifests, and again wants to show me synchronicities, number 8. It's also the 8th, it was the 8th month he passed, but number 8. And so when I see 8, I know that's him. And because he loves vehicles, because he was a mechanic before we did our crystal shop, he owned his own garage, and so cars, motors and all that kind of thing was his thing. So it's absolutely no surprise that his very fond way of showing me, and you've seen it on previous videos, his very fond way of showing me messages is through number plates on cars. Very common way of doing it. Angels do this as well with numerology. They love their numbers, and so, you know, don't sit there looking for them, but they'll be right in front of you. And again, I've showed you many times with Teddy and Mia when they've brought messages to me 2 days after they've passed through number plates. But Darren loves it because obviously love cars, and it's incredible that parked on mine, because number 8 the house that I'm moving to, and on the driveway was a black Range Rover, which he had when we first met, which I hated because I thought it was just a facey waste of money. And it's like, oh, it's a black Range Rover, I go. Angels always come to you in their imagery, so you recognise them, so they can like show any image at all. Today we're going to talk about Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is such a powerful, silent force. He's just remarkable. Archangel Ariel is the archangel of nature, plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and she helps us with base chakra manifestation. Archangel Michael is the warrior angel. He's in charge of many triads up there, and he obviously oversees the seraphim as well. You know, at the end of the day, physical death and the transition of our soul from being in a meat suit to going up there is a beautiful thing. But yeah, so listen, it's never ever going to replace the physical touch, a kiss, laughter, those intimate, beautiful experiences you have with your loved ones. But do you know what? It bloody helps. Do you know what I mean? So I'm very lucky that I obviously come from heritage. I come from ancestry, that I was born like this. So for me not to have the ability to see, feel, know, hear, taste, you know, everything that comes from spirit, from the spirit world and spirit people in the angel realms, for me not to have that would be weird as fluff. It'd be like, what in the Archangel Michael, do you know, I just couldn't live like it. I don't know how people do it. It's just, how can you not live and exist down here without that extra help from the spirit world? And know that the universe has got your back, and that the angel realms can actually create your reality if you ask them. How can people not understand that they can manifest whatever they want in their lives in the quantum space? It's just alien to me. And I suppose it's the other way around for people that aren't open or have developed their ability. You've got to remember that every single person on this planet is a spirit person encaged in this human meat suit, just so you can wear it for this experience in this atmosphere on this planet. And how you need to see dead people, physical death is freedom back to source, back to who you were. You are light, sounds, colour, sentience. You are this ray of beautiful soul technology, and you are just here for a safari, and you have to wear the meat suit to walk around here, like you have to wear scuba equipment when you dive in, like you have to wear a spacesuit when you're in space. It's exactly the same concept. And as soon as you get your head around that, it really helps you to deal with earthbound matters that really get on your nerves or really sadden you or give you trauma. You've got to remember you are an eternal being that is on a safari for a little while. And then when your lot lose their meat suit, they're still here, they're still in the ether, but we've aspired to that ascended consciousness, if you like, as up there in the sky. But really all its meaning is we're looking up, because it's where our divine chakras aspire to. But really they're here, they're anywhere you want them to be. So it's being very, very aware of signs and synchronicity. There are all sorts of personal ways of doing it as well. So, you know, my dad not only brings a sparrow hawk, he used to do it every single birthday, which was really impressive, to be honest with you. But you also, oh look, there's a buzzard there. Close. I thought if that's a sparrowhawk, I'm going to be really impressed, but it's a buzzard. But they will work personal ways around how you know it's them. So for instance, my dad also brings the smell of cigarettes. He used to smell, and my mum. And my dad, so I'm thinking, which one is it? If there's no other synchronicity. So my dad will bring in this like stale beery smell. I don't know why, it wasn't exactly a huge drinker, but that's what he's chosen. And sometimes I get that oily smell that Darren used to smell of when he got back from the garage. So you know it's them, you know, because you could have like 6 people that smoke, so which one is it? My nan comes in and she smells of like a lily of the valley talcum powder and a bit mothbally. So no, that's my nan. So, and she likes dropping coins, my nan, pound coins. I was waiting for an operation and I was pooing myself in hospital, and I absolutely know 100% before I closed my eyes in the waiting room, there was it was like a quite a nice waiting room actually, not like a, you know, one in A&E. And I closed my eyes and went, oh God, Nan. She tends to be with me a lot during hospital procedures and stuff like that. And I closed my eyes and went, Nan, and you hear, or Angel Realms, this is Archangel Raphael, can you be with me for this one? I really don't want to go and do it. When I opened my eyes, there was a £1 coin right in front of my feet. That was impressive, to be fair. Always look at the dates on the coins, because that is normally a relevant date that you should look at. Just be aware and open, and know all of the signs and synchronicities in your journal, so that you know when and how they brought their messages. It's all about learning a new way of communication with your loved ones, and then once you get it, it will just literally flow every single time. So how do you raise your consciousness? As I keep saying, the most simplest, easiest way, and if you find it hard to meditate, whack a guiding meditation on. You know, I've created many guiding meditations on my website, nickyalan.co.uk, expressly for this. Meeting your guides, going to the Crystal Palace, going to visit your pets, and it works. You can do it, and all you got to do is press play, and I do all the work for you. There's loads of guided meditations on YouTube. Problem with that is you've got the risk of having adverts accidentally put in them, and then them not bringing you out properly. Just make sure you know who the teacher is, and that you like the music, and that you know that they're good at bringing you up and taking you back down again if you're not used to it. Find your local spiritualist centres, go to workshops, meditation classes, anything like that. You don't have to be in spiritualist centres. There's lots of places that do meditation classes. Go and get yourself affiliated to sound frequency. Go to gong baths. Put yourself in an energy of complete bliss, calm, quiet minds. And the more you do that, the more you are aligning yourself to talking with your loved ones. Okay? I also always put, you know, the spiritual, yeah, okay, I'll do the spiritual part first, darling. So the spiritual part, walking in nature, talking to them, asking them to draw in and find ways to show you that they're there. Don't nag them too much though, because they're mostly already there and you haven't noticed it. They're like, for God's sake, I'm already here, right? But the other best way to do it as well is create a space, either indoors, outdoors, or both. So indoors, well, I can do it anywhere, to be honest with you, but I create a space for so I've got a space for my babies and Darren in the garden, and I'm very fortunate that I've got a huge garden at my new house, and there's a particular, and some of the gardens are sectioned off, and there's like a memorial garden with the most stunning plants and flowers. It just lends itself to a calming memorial space. And so I've got a tree that Darren had at his house, and I've got that, and I'm going to plant that. I've got a plant that represents Mia and Teddy, and so I'm going to have a water feature next to it. It's under this most stunning tree. It's just beautiful and calm, and the beauty is that one of my windows that looks out from the lounge looks directly onto it. So I've got side windows as well as a back window in the lounge, and that's going to bring so much peace. So the reason I thought that's perfect is because I can sit indoors if it's a bad day and just look at it, and you can link up, or you just go and sit there. So I'm going to create, I've got a lovely little bench I'm going to put there as well. And then this is what you need to do, have the water feature running. So water is a conduit of the spirit world. It feels like being in water when you're actually in the spirit world. And when I was first developing, well, not developing, but I used to first show me, I used to walk into a pool and go under the water and breathe and become the water, a bit like in the film Abyss. And I never knew why. It's because it is a conduit. So that's why we have water scrying. That is why you feel, some of us, if you haven't gone through the witching positions, feel alignment to water. We have to be near it. Most spiritual people have to be near a water source. They adore water, love water. But as I say, a lot of you, if you've been through the Inquisitions and were drowned, that's why you don't like water. Or obviously something is damaged your ego system throughout your experience on this safari, and you don't like water because of that. But we are mostly have this massive affiliation to water. And best time to talk to them in the bath, in the shower. How many of you have heard your name being called in the shower? I hear that so many times. So water is like electricity with metal. It just literally lends itself to communication with your loved ones. So even try that, just lay in the bath talking to them. But obviously not if it's your dad, because that'd be a bit dodgy. Oh dear. I know they don't choose to see you naked. To be honest with you, people say to me, oh my God, will they watch us when we're doing rude things? No, why would they want to do that? But if you're, say if you are laying in the bath, like when that bloke came in, because his daughter was coming to the show later on, that was so funny. They don't see you naked, they see your soul. Very much like Avatar, how much of a channeled, beautiful films they are. I see you. They just see your colour, your energy, your light. They're not looking to see what boobs you got and how fat your bum looks in the bath. They're not looking at that. They're not interested. It's a meat suit. They don't care about that. They're looking through into your colour, your light, and they recognise it. And so, the more that you talk to them, or you could just sit with a photograph, whatever you want to do. I can't do that. I'm still really not comfortable looking at his photograph. I find it really, really difficult. Still. But some of you may be able to do that. We all grieve differently. We all work differently with memories of people. And so, yeah, I've got that. Hold that for me. Catherine's here. We all do that. And we all have this different way of coping. So whatever is the most conducive to you, blending, relaxing into the energy of the loved one that you want to connect with. So all of these energies that we are regularly exercising, just like going to the gym, the more you exercise it, the more you get that muscle memory, the more you get that chakra memory. And all of these energies, connecting with them, creates this beautiful connection. And in turn, once you actually connect with one person, and be aware that you could connect with your nan first, you know, instead of whoever you're actually intending to be with, speak with, connect with, they'll introduce others to you, and you'll start learning their signs, their ways of being in attendance, so you can start identify who's just walked in your house, who's just walked in the room. Now, I don't tend to have bedroom visits unless it's really, really urgent. They'll come in, or if I'm upset, I'll know that someone is coming, and obviously it's been very busy the last 18 months. Sounds a bit rude, it's very busy in the bedroom, darlings. So, you know, a lot of my Aunt Reed, my mum, my dad, all of them have like been in there, and they'll come in now and then if I'm laying there feeling like pants. And so that's lovely. What you have to do throughout this is that a lot of you now, I know, will be saying, oh, what if it's my arsehole ex-husband, or, you know, my dad who I hated? They won't come in. You're not attracting yourself to that energy. The only way for you to attract yourself to that energy is to worry about it, think about them and fear it. It's the only way. So let that go. Put yourself in a pure, loving, excited energy that you are going to be speaking to your loved one, and you send your consciousness up there. Now, to assist the connection, you will want to have Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is a messenger angel. He also assists with visitation energy from heaven to earth, okay? And so he is the one that you call upon. So all you need to do is if you're starting this out and you've started doing meditation, perhaps you've been to classes or your local spiritualist church or a local circle, whatever it is, and you want to give it a go. As I say, I already do this. If you want to do visiting, if you want to do visiting your loved ones in heaven, I'll do it for you. Just keep pressing play. keep pressing play, pressing play, pressing play, and eventually you'll start seeing them, okay? But do not then doubt, oh, did I make it up? Did I see them? Because again, you're going to break that link. You've got to go in with this open-hearted. You've got to go in this thinking, I just saw my dad, that's absolutely brilliant. He's in the spirit world and he's come to say hello to me. Not, did I make it up? Or did I just hope for it? If you do that, you're going to break the connection. Do not let your analytical left-hand side of your brain take over the beauty of this connection. You've got to remember that when you are new to this, it's very subtle how they come in. They don't want to scare you. They're not going to come in uninvited, so you're not going to get people wandering in your bedroom, all right? So don't start like sleeping under your quilt thinking, oh shit, I just heard a creak. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing to be scared of. The media, society and religion have created fear around speaking with your darlings who are in heaven. What more beauty could come from the pure being of the love and endearment of a loved one coming to connect with you? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Ask yourself, what is wrong with that? Your loved ones coming back to show you there is eternal life, because every single thing on the planet that wants to control it does not want you to have that freedom, that knowledge, that power, because it will totally take away what they're trying to do. Make you a human grunt, make you a mushroom that's left in the dark and just fed shit. It's true. It's totally true. They want you to be a mushroom. So don't fear it. Oh, you don't know what you're dabbling with. Oh, you don't know what a load of old shit. It's the same with Ouija boards. You know, these people all don't use Ouija boards. Yeah, if you're pissed or, you know, you don't know what you're doing, or you're mucking about with it, you know, yeah, it's like a gun. If you're not trained in it, it's an effective tool. If you're not trained in it, it's the most dangerous thing you can ever use. So communication balls for me are great. We used to do them every Christmas Eve to have a chat with everybody. Our family used to get around, write the letters out, get the tumbler glass out, and just have a chat with them all Christmas Eve. What better thing can you do? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? No, absolutely nothing. And we used to have such a laugh, and we used to play games where we used to ask our family, right, tell me a secret that only you and mum would know, and then they'd say it and mum would go, oh my god. So it used to be brilliant. What is wrong with that? And then you'd get bangs and things being knocked over while you're doing it, and it's bloody great. But then, you know, it's, oh my god, it's a poltergeist, it just knocked over. No, it didn't. It was my aunt showing us that she's here. She knocked a photograph over, you know. And so you've got to relax with this. If a photograph gets pushed down, if a photograph comes off the wall, if something goes crash and bang and there's nothing to explain for it, embrace it and be joyful. Don't immediately think, oh my god, I've got a poltergeist in the house. You know, Caroline, go to the light. Lose the fear, embrace the love, and know that it is a divine right that you have access to your loved ones. We've got to start teaching ourselves and remembering this again. Sorry that the sun's right in my face. Can't help it. But it is our divine right to be able to communicate with anybody, irrespective of what form they're in. And so go back to your birthright. Exercise your birthright. Re-exercise your divine and third eye chakra to help you see and connect and know. And before you know it, your communication with your loved ones up in the spirit world will be clearer than your communication down here with human, because they just think and know and feel everything that is within your being. You can't lie to them, you can't pretend everything's okay. They know. Without you even connecting with them, they know how you're feeling, what's going on, what you're thinking. So you've got a more closer, natural, beautiful connection with your loved ones than you have with people down here, because the ego is in the way down here. Your personality is in the way down here. You know, you sometimes, out of niceness, you know, tell people you're okay when you're not. They know what is going on inside you. And that's how psychics know what's going on, because your loved ones will grass up you up. And they'll tell a psychic, she's really not good, she's really shit at the moment. And then we'll say, God, you're really not good, you're really shit at the moment. And they're like, yeah, but I can't tell my kids or my husband because of this guy. Do you know what I mean? We safeguard people, we safeguard ourselves, and we're not our true selves. And that's not out of a negative element, it's just out of a I don't want to hurt people element, you know. And sometimes we do need to reach out. As empaths, it's even worse because we put everybody first. But what I will say is that when you get that link, they know everything you're thinking and feeling, and they will direct you where you need to go. So once you've established that contact, that rapport with your loved one, they can then start taking you through meditation or just closing your eyes. They can give you visions and advice and future references to your soul contract in a blink of an eye. So I found that sitting by the ocean, sitting on a rock, closing my eyes, boom, the first vision will be in there in a nanosecond. And so being near water is an excellent way for you to connect yourself to them. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. And so once you actually establish that rapport with them and know it's them, whether it's a smell, you know, with me, Julianus makes my nose itch. Catherine is very visual feeling. I feel her in me straight away. I can feel her inside, making me feel powerful, knowledgeable, sage. I feel like I'm looking at all of the vegetation. I know exactly what it's doing and what healing properties it's got, because that's her energy. I just know her. And it's years and years of doing it, remember. Years and years of me not even trying, because they were with me since birth. So it's just as natural to me as breathing. It's more natural than breathing, to be honest with you. Breathing isn't natural because it's what a human has to do, you know. So once you've established that rapport and you lose the fear and just completely embrace the connection with your loved ones, they can start advising you. They will tell you of the future. They will tell you what's good and what's bad in your life. It's up to you whether you want to go with it or not. They can tell you you're with the wrong partner. They can tell you you're in the wrong job. It's up to you whether you take their advice. But ultimately, they're always right. I'll tell you that now. And they tell you stuff you don't want to hear. They'll also tell you stuff that you do want to hear. They can bring healing. They can bring calm. You know, since Darren went, obviously the trauma of what I experienced brought on horrific anxiety and panic attacks, which is part of the complex grief. And my granddad comes in as soon as I get one. My dad's been in, Nan, my mum, all different people have been in. Darren's been in. As soon as they start for no reason, which is really, you know what it's like if you get these, and it's, you haven't even thought anything to trigger it. And then they'll just come in, breathe, do this, and then the seraphim have come in now and then, just sung to me. It's just, they used to sing to me after, the bouts of abuse I got when I was a kid. So they're there, use it. And it's exactly the same communicating with the angel realms. All you do, as I was talking about Gabriel, just envisage, I didn't carry on with that conversation, sorry. With Gabriel, with the visitation business, he helps assist us talking with them. It's one of his things. He also works with family and children, but that's one of his things. And all you do is you just envisage yourself in a golden night and then picture who you want to connect with. So Gabriel, I ask you to assist this connection with my loved one. He'll gauge your light, your frequency, the age of your soul, and he will see how he can assist you to lighten your energy so that you can be more successful in your connection. He'll be able to read you. You're a walking website. You're a walking encyclopedia. He and all spirit people will be able to read you. And know exactly who you are, where you are, what soul family you come from, boom. And and he can assist that. Ask your guides as well, if you know your guides, or even if you don't, ask them anyway. You know, it literally, by meditating or sending your consciousness up, you are walking into a whole world of magic. Not only communication with your loved one, but spirit guides, angel realms. Oh, I think I've just pushed some oil in my eye now. I use carrot oil, and I keep forgetting that it stays on your face quite a long time. And so, if you rub your eye, you can sometimes rub it in there, and that's what I've just done. So, it's just a wonderful world of magic. That's what it is. It's a wonderful world of magic that you can explore anything you want to explore. I'd recommend visiting your loved ones in heaven or the Crystal Palace, because that takes you straight to source, and there you can go. The Crystal Palace one can take you to any chamber, the cherubim chamber, the archangels, halls of learning. And then once you go to the halls of learning, you then, when you go up, your intent will be, I want to go to the halls of learning. I think I've got one for the halls of learning, and that's where your Akashic records are, your guides are. You know, go up and explore yourself. Find out who you are. People like all this DNA ancestry and, you know, all that kind of stuff, but they don't even look at their soul energy, where that comes from. And they should, because it's really interesting. I'm just going to have a break because my eye is stinging like a bitch. Sorry, I'm not being film starry, but it is really sunny now, so I'm going to have to put my sunglasses on. So you're using Gabriel, you're connecting up. So when you're doing all of this, remember that you will become extra sensitive. So you could feel emotional differences in your whole being as a human. You could get more sensitive, so you may cry more, you may be more affected by things that are bad in the world, you may be a bit more teary, and it's all part of a natural progression. You do get more sensitive emotionally, and you start to pick up and feel more things around you. It's totally normal. It does balance out. You just have to go with it. The best bit of advice I could give you when you take this journey is to be patient with yourself. You've got to remember, if you're not used to doing what I've been talking about, it's going to take a bit. You're oil at the moment, and you need to swap over to water, if you like. And so it takes a lot of practice and patience. You know, so many people expect results straight away. I remember one person saying, oh, I did your meditation, whatever it was, and I couldn't do anything. I'm like, okay, well, how many times did you try? Once. You're like, oh my God, do you know, it's a really high vibration that they live on, and we've got to align to that. And we are not in a high vibration naturally, because the world has made us low dense material. Basically, they've put us down into this low morale, subservient energy to stop us aligning ourselves to our star cousins, spirit world, angels and souls. That's what you got to remember. So it's all about aligning yourself back, because as soon as we all connect in that collective, which we're doing at the moment in the age of Aquarius, we're going to be one force to be reckoned with, because we will see through all of the BS, and that's what they don't want, darlings. That's what the deep state don't want. So you have to be patient. You have to be relaxed. I think it's my meeting your guides meditation, I don't think we can work that out digitally. I can't remember. I might have to work on that one. Or is it? Oh, I can't remember. It might be on there. I actually do meditation preparation, so that you don't do it if you're upset, in pain, full stomach, drinking alcohol. There's different ways of making the best experience, and avoiding certain trigger points or things that could stop you being in your highest vibration. It's like, some people like incense when they do meditation. I think that's a bit silly, because if your senses are open and you want to learn what smell comes in with whatever spirit person, it's going to be disguised by the incense, you know, so be aware of that sort of thing. Turn your phone off, tell your family that you're going to have a meditation, own your space and own the preciousness of it, and tell people, no, don't knock on the door, this is what I'm doing. And if you have got a busy family, get out in your cars, go out and walk in your woodlands, or find a class. You know, it is essential that we go back to our origins, and essential that we exercise our right to be able to just connect back in with the divine that we used to do without even thinking about it. You'll also find that you'll feel and telepathically connect more with your loved ones, so you'll say something, they won't say anything, but you'll hear their response. I love that bit. See, the thing is, so many people think that I'm only psychic when I like turn this camera on or when I'm doing a reading, but it's there 24/7. I just don't say what I know that I'm hearing or feeling. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's a beautiful thing to have. It's a beautiful thing to help your grief and your healing journey. It's a beautiful thing to be able to have that feeling, I really miss my mum, and I think, oh, I'll go up and see her, go and have a cup of tea with her. And do you know what, even if you think you are making it up, which I hope, I can't stress enough that you have to get your head out of that even if, you know, you think you've made it up, isn't it nice to just go and have a cup of tea with her rather than remember how she died or where she is now, her physical body, all the shit that went with it when they passed? Isn't it better to just go up and have a cup of tea? But the beauty in it is that the more you go up there and the more you start visiting your loved ones, right, when they start giving you messages in the future and they come true, then you know you really are speaking with your loved ones. That's when you've nailed it. When they say, well, that'll happen tomorrow, so make sure you go there or whatever, that's when you nail it. Or they'll say something that you don't even know about, and then you'll say it to your sister or whatever, and they'll go, oh yeah, I did that. And you're like, oh my God, they will give you proof. And look at what happened with Darren. He was wearing the same clothes and visiting various people. Remember when he was on his motorbike going to Arizona? So he showed me that. He showed one of you, Tribe, and you mentioned it, and he also showed my brother. So I had two different sources confirming what I'd seen the same day. See, that's how it works. Start working it, people. I just felt like I wanted to bring this in. Because I started thinking about the 3 family members in my new house. They'd better go with the other 2, but they will. They're just there because their son lives there. But yeah, just start investigating your origins. Start embracing your past and your loved ones, and you'll never look back. It will make you such a better, more balanced, calm person, and your healing process will be so much more magnificent. And it will never take the pain away of any physical loss for the future. However, oh, it's gone a bit dull again. However, it will just lessen it a bit. We tend to, when our loved ones pass, apart from Darren's, which was absolute horror on a stick, we tend to think, where are they now? They must be up now with Jeremiah, or they must be gone to reality layout, and then boom, 2 days later, which is my rule, my loved ones always visit 2 days, exactly 2 days after they've passed. Darren was different, he came that night, he visited me that night. But even my pets, it's a 2-day one for me. I don't know why. For you, it could be 2 hours, 2 weeks, 2 months. Just wait and keep pushing and staying in that beautiful energy, and you'll see the results, I promise you. You know, everything takes a bit of work. You can't just magic stuff where you can when you're there. When you've got it, you can magic up anything. But you know, you need to work it if you're starting from beginner's level. Nobody's a beginner, we're all advanced, but we're a beginner because our ego tells us that. once you get there, it'll be the most magnificent way of being you've ever experienced, and everything on the planet won't seem as important or as bad, because you know that there's a bigger picture out there, and this is just a small part of it. Anyway, I hope you felt inspired by this little chat, all brought about from a little daydream of 3 lovely spirit people in my new house. It's an old house, so I thought, oh, who are they? But thank goodness when I described them, they were the man's family members, which is nice. And I'm sure they will move on to wherever they move to, which is what happens. They can see your light through energy, time, space. So wherever you go in the world, they can zone in and know exactly where you are. They are always there, watching, guiding, helping, nurturing. If we open our energies up and reciprocate the energy back to them, you'll never look back, I promise you. So anyway, my darlings, I will be, you know, later on when I get settled, I really want to start doing retreats and do all this stuff for you face to face, to help you get there. With the 5D Ascension at the moment, it is vital that we start to show you how to reconnect so you can remember your origins. Exciting, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you and get on, and I send you all so much love. Sorry I missed last Saturday, but I've been so busy sorting out my new home. As I say, once I'm settled, everything will get back into a routine. At the moment it's just beautiful chaos. Until the next time, darling, God bless you all, and I'll speak to you all again very soon. Take care. Please press the like button and the subscription, because that's what will keep our tribe going. Many thanks. Love you all.